Jamie Wilson of Nice Systems is one of our regular bloggers on Info for Security, writing as a security analyst. Jamie, one of the big topics of the moment in the security world is of course Physical Security Information Management, or PSIM. What's your take on the topic of PSIM?
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, PSIM's a really hot topic for us at the moment, and certainly at NICE. One of the things we're talking about at the moment is the decisive moment in a security situation. So that decisive moment, that moment where there's a situation that's happening, and then knowing what to do. And for us, PSIM really kind of fits into that decisive moment. So it's about pulling all of the data that you've got available to you into one easy view to know what's happening, where it's happening, and what to do. So from our perspective, PSIM's really kind of setting the tone for the way that the security industry seems to be going for us. From a NICE perspective as well, some of our core competencies have been in audio recording and video recording, and of course the PSIM solution really does sit very nicely on top of those core competencies. So what we found from speaking to customers and system integrators is that, of course, with mergers and acquisitions, with pressure for return on investment, and for a need to just be more secure, more safety conscious, and more operationally efficient, you know, the PSIM solutions really are coming to the fore, and we're seeing a kind of a real momentum from the early adopters as we start to go forward on that.
Now, market analyst Boston & Sullivan have just issued a comprehensive report on PSIM, Jamie. What are the headline points made in that report?
It was a really interesting report, that one, Brian. It was about 150 odd pages, but actually it's some really good information came out, and one of the things that I personally liked was it seemed to be backing up a lot of the things that we're hearing from our customers and integrators, and some of the things we're trying to get across. I think one of the really interesting things was that it's a huge potential market. I think they said around about $150 million worth of revenue was taken in the PSIM space in 2011. They see the market sizing of around about $2.8 billion, and they see this as an exponential growth area. I think one of the really interesting things from my perspective, and also from a company perspective, is one of the things that's hindering PSIM adoption is the customer awareness. So one of the things I'm really keen to do and to get across is some of the benefits of PSIM for customers. So that's really interesting. They identified that it's a huge growth area, and one of the things we need to do is to really communicate some of the benefits, the operational safety and security benefits of PSIM. And interestingly as well, they highlighted one of the key drivers was acquisitions, and again I can speak from an example in banking where they have a lot of subsystems, sub-security systems, and when you're acquiring different banks, which happens quite often, you're left with that issue of, you know, how do I integrate all of these systems which are not the ones that I had originally intended to if I'm the senior security guy for this organisation. So PSIM really does give that ability to access those subsystems and work with them, without having to rip and replace. So instantly the return on investment, the advantages, the operational benefits you get from that are very apparent. And I thought it was really interesting in that report that they identified that as one of the key drivers for PSIM.
Now, Nice Systems as a company, Jamie, have been involved in several PSIM projects of late. Can you explain the outcomes of these?
Yeah, we've had some great success stories, Brian. I'll highlight three very briefly. One was Aero Express. These guys are securing the train lines from Moscow city into the three main airports in Moscow. So that's been a great success for us in terms of them being able to secure the network safely and securely, but it's also enabled them to be operationally much more efficient, because they're needing less people to man the control room area, and they're just able to respond more effectively to issues and situations that happen on the network. So that's been a great one for us in that sense. I'd also like to highlight LAX Airport, again one of the key airports globally, and again these guys have taken the PSIM solution that we offer. It's really enabled them again to be so much more operationally efficient, because again, as you know, in an airport, if you get a blocked toilet in one terminal, that may not be an issue, but if you've suddenly got 2 blocked terminals, that may indicate that something darker is happening. On the flip side, of course, you don't want to be shutting down a terminal if you've just got 2 blocked toilets, but if you're able to piece together the information that you've got coming in from your various subsystems into one coordinated control room, that enables you to very effectively and quickly respond. And of course, with an adaptive workflow, you can really switch your operational response. So again, if things start taking a darker turn, you can very quickly get the guys involved who may need to escalate and close a terminal. So that's been a great success for us, LAX. And the last one I wanted to mention, again in a different vertical, is Millennium Bank. And again, I touched on it briefly in one of your earlier questions, but these guys have got 900 branches dotted around Portugal. And one of the key problems they had was false alarm notification. So every time a false alarm went off at a branch, they would have to get the police involved. They would come along and they would automatically charge them for that. So they've been able to dramatically reduce their false alarms purely by having everything coming into one control room. So that very quickly and easily shows a very tangible return on investment for them. So again, that's been a great success for us.
And moving into the wider security world and the wider policing world, Jamie, what's your take on the future of law enforcement in the UK as it stands at the moment?
It's a very interesting question, Brian. I'd say there's a lot of turmoil going on in the police. I mean, traditionally, NICE have been a supplier to the police because of recording the 999 calls and things like that. Where we've started to move with them is very much on the ICT side of the business. So their ability to quickly access multimedia information, which is a key part of any investigation that happens. And I think one of the things we found with the police, and it was slightly frustrating in a sense, because there are a number of solutions out there that can really enhance their ability to respond quicker and follow up investigations. But due to obviously resource cutbacks and budget cutbacks, they kind of lost a little bit of their focus and thoughts for the future on that. I think what I'm starting to see now is a little bit of green shoot activity. I think in some ways, paradoxically, the fact that they're losing resources has made them actually start to think how they can better use those resources. So again, speaking from my point of view and the police moving forward, I think that they're being much more receptive to using some of the new latest technologies and solutions that are out there to really enhance their ability to follow up investigations and that kind of thing.
That's great. Thank you very much indeed, Jamie.